Management Accounting C370, Unit 3 Linked Notes. Considering about the environmental costs according to CIM 2017, in Europe, businesses must comply with the EMAS directive, which is the Eco Management and Audit Scheme Directive. This was applied to private businesses since 1995, and when it comes to the revised EMAS in 2010, it says that organizations should establish and maintain measurable objectives and targets for significant environmental aspects, and organizations must send an externally verified annual statement that details these efforts to the EMAS registry in Paris. When it comes to three categories of environmental indicators for evaluating and reporting the environmental performance of an organization, the operational performance indicators include planning, controlling, and monitoring environmental impacts of organizational corporations and relevant reporting, whereas management performance indicators that involves objectives, targets, training, incentive schemes, audit frequency, and site inspections, whereas environmental condition indicators include involving water quality, regional air quality, etc. Considering the next directive, which is used for environmental cost management, REACH directive, which is the registration, evaluation, authorization, and restriction of chemical substances. So this was actually introduced in 2007 by the European Chemicals Council. This required all the business operating in Europe to design and report an inventory of chemicals emitted in their workplaces. And this is similar to the US toxic release inventory, and actually REACH classifies emitters of chemicals into downstream, which is mainly customers and product users, and upstream, mainly manufacturers and suppliers. Both documents, that is REACH directive and EMAS directive, both of these require the company's management accounting and control systems to identify and report environmental costs incurred along the value chain. Considering about management control of environmental costing, according to CIM 2017, there are 3 steps that should be followed. That is, first you got to identify the activities that cause environmental cost, then you got to determine the costs associated with the identified activities, and you got to assign these costs to products, distribution channels, and customers. Considering about Collier 2015's discussion on this topic, he argues that environmental costs involve the recognition of the importance of CSR. ISO 14000 is a family of international standards on environmental management. When it comes to the ISO 14000, it provides a framework for the development of both the system and the supporting audit program, and specifies a framework of control for an environmental management system against which an organization can be certified by a third party. When it comes to ISO 19011, it provides a standard for auditing both quality and environmental management systems. And environmental management accounting recognizes the environmental costs for decision making, with the principles of measuring environmental costs being similar to those for measuring quality costs. So it's concerned with collecting, measuring, and reporting costs about the environmental impact of an organization's activities. Considering further about the environmental cost, there are 5 main categories of environmental costs. First of all, prevention cost. That is the cost involved to avoid environmental damage. Secondly, measurement cost, the cost to determine the extent of the organization's environmental impact. And next, the internal failure cost, which is a cost where remedial action has to be taken. And external failure cost, that is the penalties incurred for environmental damage. And considering about environmental reporting, this is already a part of GRI G4 sustainability reporting guidelines. So all companies need to report for the environmental cost. Considering about the key benefits of environmental cost management, according to Isabel 2010, we can gain competitive advantage through environmental cost management.